And fast forward like 8 years, and Ubisoft calls and like, we're interested in you for this next Far Cry. And all the temp tracks for Far Cry 3 were Brian Tyler and Lorne. So basically, they just submitted their temp tracks and was like, I don't stand a chance. Well, this time, they want this indigenous kind of Primal, which was not the name of the game at the time, sound. And they were looking at Trevor Morris, who's a super great guy, and all their temp tracks were Vikings. I was like, what? Why should I even bother? Just go ahead and hire Trevor, because obviously you guys know what you want. But this time I did a pitch, and that's when I went to the hardware store. So I'm picking up pots and tapping on them, and I got 2 pots that were like a minor third apart, and I'm getting those big pavers and like kind of plastic buckets and bags of dirt and stuff, and just I threw everything I had. Not even at the pitch, just in like, here's an idea I have for the pitch. Because the guys are usually like, we want something really different. What do you have in mind? And it's kind of like Dead Space. You can talk about it until you're blue in the face, but until you start sending audio. So I have microphones everywhere, and I'm recording, like rubbing bricks and doing rhythms and things. And got my trombone player to come over. I ordered a conch shell, and I had a ram's horn. And I'm like, man, I can't wait, because I'm not a brass player. I can't wait to hear what this ram horn sounds like. I've got like a big, 149 microphone and going through all this cool stuff, and he plays it and it goes, it's like the most pathetic sound you've ever heard. And I was like, all right, can you play it any lower? He's like, sure. Like, all right. But then I remembered that I'd been doing some learning about sound toys. They have this cool plug-in little altar boy. And I threw a couple of little altar boys on there and dropped it like 2 octaves, and it went. It was like this mammoth calling. And so I put that at the very front of my pitch. And the audio director even said, he's like, 3 seconds in, we knew you had the job. I don't know what sound that is, but that's exactly what we want. So it was literally like a third of the score is me just beating on things. And I used bushes as like overheads. I set up a prehistoric drum kit. I had pictures, but it's been a crazy week, and I couldn't figure out how to display them. There's articles. There's articles that have these pictures published. So I had this trap table set up that gave me some low end. So instead of it sounding like this, it had some low end to it. And I set up bushes and used 414s as overheads. I had like snare mics and tom mics and. Oh, look at that! Yeah.
Hey man, this guy's good.
So that's just a little bit of the table percussion. But the idea was a third of the score was completely live and me like literally breathing and doing these weird kinds of sounds. And then the other 2/3 of the score were sort of like big toms, and I played a lot of flutes. Again, little altar boy, 2 octaves down. It takes a silly little, it makes it sound like something amazing. And it was all about, just like Dead Space, just like The Order, me pretty much being convinced that it wasn't going to work. And if I'm on that line of like absolute fear because I'm trying something so different and new that I'm afraid I'm going to get fired, then so far that's been on the right path. And every time they were just like, oh, this is so great, this is so great. I got Maluka, who's a great singer in South America, to basically just scream. I mean, like screaming and shrieking, and I cut her up and kind of put it over some of the stuff. I don't think that's the cue that we have. The cue that we have is one of the live things. Oh, there's part of the table, yeah. So, but you can see one of the bushes on the right, and there's another bush on the left, and then this is the table of all the crazy stones and things, and there's the conch shell, and that's an Aztec death whistle, which it literally makes like this screaming sound. And there's another death whistle, and I had some, like 10 mics over this setup. So I could literally just hit record and kind of pick something up and start playing. And I'd play for like 4 minutes, and then I'd just rewind, and I'd hit record again, and I'd pick up something else. And I just kind of jammed. Because again, now, this was last year, I'm thinking, I'm a drummer, they want something like that sounds like this, I'm going to use it to my fullest strength. So a lot of it's not even really edited. I came up with a template and kind of made it all mix. I had like the transient designer on this big piece of firewood that I hit the ground with, or I would rub so I could make it sound like a kick drum. I was using all the computer music techniques, side chaining and everything, and the Bricastes especially. What would normally be like like this ended up sounding like because I had Bricasti reverb on it and some Alter Boy plugins that would like double it an octave below.